The most essential element for life is oxygen. No surprise there, right? The second most crucial is water. You can survive about 3 minutes without oxygen and up to a couple of weeks without water. I used to think the limit was 3 days until I read The Long Walk, a book about prisoners escaping a Siberian labor camp. Stranded in the desert, they survived nearly 2 weeks without water. Water is undeniably vital, and where it's absent, people don't typically live, do they? I often ask, how much water do you drink? The responses vary. I don't like water, it makes my feet swell, or I'll be in the bathroom all day. Those last two suggest that water isn't reaching the cells properly. So, how do we ensure it does? That brings us to the third most essential element for life, sodium. The fourth, potassium. In nature, seawater holds the highest sodium concentration, containing 92 minerals, about 30% sodium and 50% potassium. Chloride is also key, as sodium chloride forms the first crystals when seawater evaporates. However, instead of preserving these natural minerals, we refine salt, scooping up the first crystals, bleaching them, and adding aluminum to prevent clumping. That's your table salt, and it's far from healthy. Sodium and potassium are both powerful minerals, so much so that injecting them directly into the bloodstream would be fatal. Inside our cells, potassium is most concentrated, while sodium dominates outside. Surrounding every cell is a bilayered membrane equipped with sodium-potassium pumps that work tirelessly to maintain balance. However, when people consume too little potassium, mostly found in fruits and vegetables, and overload their food with refined table salt, sodium levels rise while potassium levels drop. Though some sodium exists inside the cell, this imbalance triggers osmosis and diffusion, where the higher concentration moves toward the lower one. This causes excess sodium to enter the cell, leading to swelling. And what's that called? High blood pressure. Doctors are right, table salt contributes to hypertension. A French physician, Dr. Lelengri, even wrote an entire book on salt. His approach? When patients present with high blood pressure, he prescribes Celtic salt. Why? Because it contains 82 minerals and is hand-harvested from the sea. What about Himalayan salt? It's widely available and contains around 75 minerals, which is decent, but Celtic salt is my preference. One key reason is its rich magnesium content, including magnesium chloride, magnesium bromide, and magnesium sulfate. Magnesium is highly hydrophilic, which is why Celtic salt remains damp, especially after rainfall. These three forms of magnesium draw in moisture, making it easier for water to enter the cells. Take a crystal of Celtic salt and place it on your tongue. Some ask, how big should the crystal be? If you have high blood pressure, start small, about the size of a sesame seed. Since I don't have high blood pressure, I might take 3 tiny sesame-sized crystals. Once on your tongue, the mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals. Magnesium is carried to the cell membrane, and when you drink water, it helps pull that water inside the cell. This is one of the fastest ways to hydrate the body. Drinking excess water can actually be problematic if the body lacks the minerals in Celtic salt needed to draw it into the cells. I often hear complaints like, I'm drinking more water, but now I'm running to the bathroom all day. My response, are you taking the salt? Before every glass of water, have a small crystal. Ideally, we should drink about 8 glasses daily, but not all at once. Personally, I start my day with half a glass. Then, after using the bathroom, I drink another half glass. I get dressed, then have another half glass, always with a pinch of salt. Spreading water intake throughout the day makes a difference. Many people have told me, thank you, this has changed everything. When you flood the body with too much water at once, it rushes out just as quickly. Think of watering a plant. Nature sends rain in gentle, steady amounts. When storms or torrential rain hit, soil erodes and floods occur. The same applies to your body. Hydrate gradually, little by little. This is the best way to consume it. Did you know that sodium chloride is so potent it can actually kill taste buds? Ever noticed how some people sprinkle table salt on their food before even tasting it? No surprise their taste buds are fading. In contrast, Celtic salt, packed with minerals, enhances the natural flavors of food. Take the red lentils we had this morning. Several people have asked, "What's in this?" I've even served them at breakfast in my home, and guests have asked, "Is there chicken in here?" I know why. They're so rich in flavor. The ingredients? Just a little olive oil, some herbs, fresh or Italian if possible, a bit of Celtic salt, and a touch of turmeric. That's it. I rinse the lentils thoroughly, making sure to do so just before they're fully cooked. Simple, yet delicious. I'm not into cooking onions and garlic in the morning. As much as I enjoy them in lentils, I save that for lunchtime, because in the morning I've got hills to run up and down, creeks to jump in. I don't want to spend ages in the kitchen, and this dish comes together in no time. Sodium isn't just essential for getting glucose into the blood, it's also necessary for drawing water into the cells. It's the third most vital element for life, and you'll find that in any anatomy, physiology, chemistry, or biology textbook. I'm simply sharing the facts. Water is crucial, but so is salt. Potassium, on the other hand, is abundant in fresh fruits and vegetables. And calcium? It can't enter the cell on its own. It needs vitamin D to pull it inside. Now, picture what's happening across America today. People aren't drinking enough water, they're avoiding salt, and they're definitely not eating enough greens, which are packed with magnesium. The little water they do drink isn't getting into their cells. They stay out of the sun fearing skin cancer, which means no vitamin D. As a result, calcium and other essential minerals struggle to get inside the cells. On top of that, many are trying to lose weight misled by media messages that demonize fat. So they adopt a high-carb diet, thinking fat will make them fat. But what does fat actually do? It promotes satiety. Without it, people keep eating. Before they know it, the entire pack of cookies is gone, or the whole bag of chips has disappeared. Your body doesn't have a clear stop signal when it comes to eating. That signal comes from fiber, protein, and healthy fats. But many people follow a high-carb, low-fat diet, thinking it will help them lose weight. Do you see the problem? Water isn't getting into the cells, minerals aren't getting in, glucose isn't getting in, so the body panics. It's like the central business district, CBD, of the human body in crisis mode. With no other option, the body forces everything in. The result? High blood pressure. Hypertension can stem from dehydration, mineral deficiencies, like a lack of magnesium, vitamin D deficiency, excessive sugar and carbohydrates, or even a sedentary lifestyle. Multiple factors often contribute to the issue. Now, let me take you inside. Let's examine how dehydration impacts different body functions, starting with the mouth. Did you know that chronic dehydration can actually cause excessive saliva production? Many assume a dry mouth signals dehydration, which it does, but too much saliva can be a sign as well. So, how much water should we be consuming? To determine that, we first need to assess how much water the body loses daily. The kidneys eliminate about 1.5 quarts through urination. The skin releases approximately 0.5 quarts. The colon expels around 0.3 quarts, while the lungs lose about 0.2 quarts through respiration. Altogether, that's a daily loss of 2.5 quarts. Since 2 quarts equals 8 cups, this means the body loses about 10 glasses of 8-ounce water per day. Unlike a car, we don't have a reserve tank. The only water available is what we actively consume. We should aim to drink at least 2 quarts daily, ideally more. And right now, given that you're taking a steam sauna every day, I wouldn't be surprised if your skin alone is losing closer to 0.8 quarts due to heavy perspiration. The rest of your daily water intake can come from fruits, vegetables, herbal teas, and vegetable juices. That's how much water the body truly needs. Dr. Batman Gehelde discovered that when water isn't replenished, the body enters a state of drought management. To cope, it releases a hormone called histamine. What do people take when they have an allergic reaction? Antihistamines. But the most natural antihistamine is simply water. To maintain full blood volume in the veins and arteries, the body first pulls water from the stomach lining. Normally, a thick mucosal layer protects the stomach, But when water is scarce, that lining thins. Within it, sodium bicarbonate acts as a buffer, neutralizing excess stomach acid and preventing ulcers. So, what exactly is a stomach ulcer? It's essentially tissue breakdown. When you smell food and begin chewing, hydrochloric acid is released. It combines with pepsinogen to form pepsin, the enzyme responsible for breaking down proteins. Hydrochloric acid also serves as a defense system, eliminating harmful bacteria and fungi. But what happens if you drink a large glass of water at the wrong time? It simply dilutes the hydrochloric acid, weakening its effect. So, Helicobacter pylori starts feeding on the dead tissue, almost as if saying, "That was close. Chomp, chomp." When someone comes to me with an H. pylori infection, one of the first things I do is help increase their hydrochloric acid levels. Why? Because one of hydrochloric acid's key functions is to act as an antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-yeast agent. Now, I'm not discrediting the doctors who discovered that H. pylori plays a role in stomach ulcers. It's there, and it does contribute. But the real question is, why is it there in the first place? Can you see the bigger picture? Unfortunately, pharmaceutical companies have representatives on the board that awards Nobel Prizes. But let's not go down that road. That's not to say Nobel Prize winners don't deserve their recognition. Many absolutely do. I'm simply laying out the facts, explaining the basic anatomy and physiology. Water loss also affects the gastrointestinal tract. Moving further along, we reach the pancreas. This organ produces two crucial hormones, insulin and glucagon, to regulate blood sugar. But if the body is dehydrated, these hormones aren't produced as efficiently as they should be. This means dehydration can actually be a contributing factor to diabetes. Dr. Beat also found that hormones from the pancreas are essential to complete digestion. Pancreatic lipase helps digest fats. Pancreatic amylase breaks down starches, and trypsin and chymotrypsin finalize protein digestion. All of these enzymes are water-based. Without enough water, digestion becomes impaired. Water is crucial at every stage of every bodily function. That's why Dr. Beat titled his book "When a Person Has a Symptom of Disease." He argues that these symptoms are often the body's cries for water. When brain cells are dehydrated, they shrink, leading to common issues like headaches and even negative thought patterns. I can move my hand without pain because there's fluid surrounding every joint. This fluid is called synovial fluid, and it's made up of 99% water. In a state of dehydration, the body may take some of this water from the joints to help maintain blood volume in the arteries and veins. So, if there's pain in the joints, it may be diagnosed as arthritis, but it could simply be a sign of dehydration. Even the movement of our eyeballs relies on hydration. Water is essential at every step in the body's processes, including in our lungs. Let me explain it with a simple diagram. Our trachea splits into two branches, which then split further into smaller bronchioles. At the end of each bronchiole, there are tiny clusters called alveoli, which are crucial for gas exchange. Over each alveolus, there's a network of blood capillaries where oxygen is absorbed from the alveoli, and carbon dioxide is released into the lungs to be exhaled. In every alveolus, there's a tiny droplet of water. Because of water's surface tension, when you exhale, the alveolus collapses, allowing carbon dioxide to be expelled. When you inhale, the alveolus opens to take in more oxygen. In dehydration, that water droplet isn't present in the right amount, meaning the alveolus doesn't collapse fully when you breathe out. This limits the amount of oxygen you can take in. To conserve water, the body may constrict the bronchioles, which leads to shallow breathing, a common sign of dehydration. Dehydration also causes the blood to become thicker, which makes it harder for the heart to pump and the kidneys to filter it. Essentially, water is needed for every single bodily function. If you found this video helpful, be sure to check out our other content you should know about, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.